Right, hello there ladies and gents, welcome to another video. Today we're going to be working on this PlayStation 5. This has been sent in by a customer because it's got a blue light of death. So the blue light of death is basically when the console will turn on for a brief second and then it'll turn straight back off, just like this. Yeah, that. So I just tried this before I pressed record, which is why it beat once and wouldn't show a light. But yeah, the console turns on for a brief second and then it turns straight back off. So hopefully we're going to be able to figure this out. But with that being said, my name's Hakko, I'm an electronics technician. I do mainly work on games consoles, but I do work on other stuff as well. So if you enjoy that kind of thing and you want to see more, be sure to get subscribed and turn on the bell notifications. That way you won't miss any future videos. And if you need to organise a repair, get in touch at thecoder.repair. And if you need parts and supplies to assist in your repair, you can buy those on my online store at consolefix.shop. But with that being said, let's get into today's repair. Today's video is sponsored by PCBWay. Whether you've got a simple project that requires a quick mod board or you want to launch your own products to the world, PCBWay can help. With fantastic pricing on multi-layer PCBs, flex ribbons, 3D printing and even laser cutting solutions, you're sure to find everything you'll need all in one place. Custom PCBs start from just $5 for a 1 to 2 layer board with a fast 24-hour build time and free shipping on orders over $30. PCBWay also offer aluminium PCBs starting at just $120 per square metre. Check out what PCBWay have to offer by clicking on the top link in the video description or in the top pinned comment and get your project started today. Thanks again to PCBWay for sponsoring the channel. Now let's get back to the video. So this, like I said, is a 2-second blue light of death. So the console will turn on for a second or two, the fan will spin, and then it'll just shut straight back off. And it's a very, very common issue which we see on these consoles. It normally indicates a hardware fault such as a shorted capacitor or something along those lines. But we do have some tools and stuff which we can use to assist us with the diagnosis process. So basically what we can do is we connect up to something called UART, which is a diagnostic, well, it's basically diagnostics for the PS5. It spits out an error code. UART isn't specifically for the PS5, but on the PS5 it spits out an error code and tells us roughly what's wrong with the console. It doesn't always give us an exact description, and it doesn't always give us the answers to be able to fix it, but yeah, hopefully this time it will. But I'm going to get this thing apart. This is the digital edition PS5. Not sure what model. It's either going to be the EDM010 or the 020 board, I think. But yeah, I'll get this thing apart. It's pretty boring, so I'll fast forward through it. Right, okay, here we go. So I'm inside the console now. That's all the screws removed. Or, well, apart from these two, but yeah. So what we're going to do first then is I'm going to basically connect up to UART. So on the left-hand side of the board here, there are 10 little test points. And those test points are going to allow me to connect up a TTL device to be able to connect up to the computer and read the UART error codes, and hopefully get some information on what's going on with this system. So I've got a UART reader here. It must be a 3.3 volt UART reader. It can't be a 5 volt one because it will send too much voltage to the safe bridge. So basically these pins are like a conduit to the safe bridge, and that allows us to connect up through this side of the board instead of having to, find alternate points under the safe bridge and stuff like that. So yeah, let's pop under the microscope. I'll show you where we need to connect to on here. So just by the Wi-Fi chip, just up here, we've got the 10 points, and we only need 3 of those to be able to connect to this. So the first thing we're going to do is just tin the pads that we need. So the pads we need are going to be these ones here. Well, it's actually just 2 of these ones on the right hand side. But I'm just going to tin these up first. a bit of dust around the board, but never mind. So I use some leaded solder there. So there's 2 points just there which we need, and then we've got this point here. So this point on the left here is just a ground point. So I'll connect that one up first. And I have made sure to unplug the console first as well. But we're going to connect up the ground point, and then the TX line on the board, the transmit line on the board, is going to be this middle one just here. And I'm going to connect that up to the RX line on my reader. And then the RX line, the receive line on the board, is going to go to TX on the reader. So that's what these two wires here are. There we go. And that is done. So TX is in the middle. RX is on the right hand side, on the bottom right. So yeah, there we go. That's connected. Okay, so next we need to plug in the console. Don't turn it on yet, but just plug in the console and you'll notice that straight away this is lighting up. That means that we've got power going to it. And then mine is USB Type-C, so I'm going to take a Type-C cable and connect that up to the PC. So I've got a USB cable just here. There we are. Okay, and over to the PC we go. Okay, so I'm going to connect up, well, I'm going to load up my UART software. This is completely free. You can download this from GitHub, completely free. You can download the source code or the published application. So I'm going to click Get Error Codes from PS5. And then I'm going to select COM13. Your results may vary. So yeah, your device may vary. Mine is COM13. I know that, so I'm going to select that. So option 4. And we get APU VRM 6 phases power fail. Check Infineon PWM controller. Okay. I am going to reset these codes. So you select option 2 and then select the COM port you want. And then I'm going to power cycle the console. And what do you know? Clear the error codes. It's turned on. Okay, that is the first time I think I've ever had that happen. What on earth? Okay. Actually, let me reiterate here. It's not the first time I've had it happen, but it's the first time I've had it happen where it's a 2-second blood. I've had it happen where it's been a issue with the BIOS chip. I've never had it do this. Genuinely, this is the same device. I've never had it do this when we've got a 2-second blood. What the hell? Yeah, I'm confused. What on earth is going on? Let me just sync up a controller. I'm going to have to screw the APU clamp back down in a minute.
Select your language. English, United Kingdom. Selected.
Alright, well, it's just synced a controller. I'm going to have to screw the APU clamp back down and put the antenna on because it'll keep losing signal otherwise. I am genuinely lost for words. I don't understand how this is now working when it was a 2-second blood. The only thing I can think of is that the software basically confused itself. But I've never had the BIOS chip where the error codes are stored, you know, cause a 2-second blood. SafeBridge, yes, but not the BIOS. This is why you always clear the error codes. Okay, so basically what I do is I always clear the error codes, or I'll read the error codes, and then I'll clear them. And then I'll try and get them again. And that's what I was going to do with this. I was going to try and get the error codes again to make sure that it's an up-to-date error code, right? And obviously, you know, this has had some sort of a software glitch where, you know, it's obviously trying to boot up, and then it saw that there's been a problem, you know, some sort of power surge or whatever, and now it's working. I don't understand it. I genuinely don't understand it. No, turn the screen reader off. I can read. Ah, dear. Right, anyway. I'm going to run through setup here. I'm genuinely confused. It's running version 11. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Yeah, this is not good. Okay, I'm going to run this through an update. What I am going to do in the meantime is I'm going to drop this heat shield back on here, and I'm going to put the fan on. But that error code that we've just seen, 108262-9, it's not a good error code, especially considering this looks like it's just been factory reset, right? It's not a good error code to have at all. So while this is running through an update, it will end up overheating if I don't put the fan on. So I'm just going to temporarily reassemble it, enough for keeping it cool. Okay, there we go. So let's just have a look at users and accounts. Sorry, not users and accounts. What am I doing? Error logs. Okay, we've only seen that error code once. We're on the latest firmware version. So I'm going to go to the PlayStation Store. I'm going to download Fortnite. Definitely not putting FIFA virus on here. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to let that run through. It's going to take a while, but I am going to need to just sort out my internet, because right now I'm just on Wi-Fi and it's bouncing off the house pod, which is quite a distance away. And yeah, that's going to take a while. The network switch I've got plugged in at the minute is acting up a little bit, so that might make a future repair video. I don't know, but yeah, I need to sort that out because I can't have it running this slow. Right now I'm getting about 70 megabits a second instead of 1.3 gigabits a second. So yeah, here we go. Yeah, so I'll let this run through. I'll fast forward. I'll pause the video, and yeah, I'll see you in a minute. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to let this run through. I'll do a little playthrough on it just to test it, but yeah, I've got a feeling it might end up crashing, so yeah. Ah, shit, I'm going to die to storm. How the fuck do you get a headshot with a, well, whatever the hell you call the freaking weapon? It's a hell of a freaking gun though, right? That'll do. That'll do. Anyway. Alright, this seems to be working absolutely fine. Don't know what that error code was about, but let's just have a look and see if there's any more error codes. No, just that one. And in the time that it took to download that Fortnite game, I reballed an SSD controller for a PS5 Slim. Boom. I've got an order for one through on the store, so I just had to reball one quickly, but never mind. Yeah, at least I managed to get that done while I was waiting for the download, because the problem with doing this, and it's something that I really should sort out in terms of putting a, setting up an SSD, and I might actually do that today, but one of the problems with when the factory reset is when there's no games on there, you have to sit there and download games, and if you're limited to a slow internet connection, you're screwed, which is why I ended up having to go and get another spare network switch, which I've got, because my network switch, I don't know what's wrong with it, it's just all of the lights are flashing simultaneously and it's just not working at all, but never mind. Anyway, I'm going to give this a service, so I'm going to clean it all out, replace the liquid metal, all of that jazz, get it all put back together and stuff. This was running for well over an hour, and I don't see any more issues, apart from that initial 108262 error code. So the 108262 error code, while it can be a very, very bad error code, it has to be consistent to be worried about it. So I'll run this for the next, 8 hours or 12 hours, whatever. I'll get the kids to stress test it because, the eldest is not at college today, and the youngest has been sent home because he threw up at school. So, not the youngest, the middle one, the middle child, has been sent home because he threw up at school. So what I'll do is I'll get this all put back together. I'll take it into the house to the kids, and I'll just say, right, play this. Fortnite's installed, blah, 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 and I'll get them to stress test it for me because, well, I don't have time to sit here for 12 hours playing. Didn't really even have time to play that one, that one game, but unfortunately, I had no choice. You had to make sure that it's working. But yeah, I'm going to strip this down. I'm going to replace the liquid metal. And by the way, I do sell liquid metal on the online store, so I make my own liquid metal, for those of you that don't know, and it performs on par, if not better than the factory liquid metal. This is the stuff right here, and yeah, I've been making it for about 6 months now, and I've never had an issue with it. I've never had anyone come to me with an issue with it. I've sold stacks and stacks of syringes of this stuff, and it's a lot cheaper than conducting oil. So if you're doing this for a living, if you're doing this for customers and stuff like that, and you need liquid metal, I do sell it on my online store. I think it's just shy of £13 for 2 grams, and look at that, that needs sorting out. I could replace it, I could just reseat the liquid metal, but I like to put some fresh stuff on whenever I can, and obviously for me it's a lot cheaper than, average Joe Bob, when they're doing it. So for me, because I've got such a ample supply of liquid metal, I tend to just replace it instead of reusing the old stuff. I'm going to clean this all out, get rid of the dust inside, and then I'll replace the liquid metal and get it all put back together. So there's not much dust inside, but there is a bit, and obviously that needs cleaning out before it goes back to the customer. Rule number 1 for me is I always clean out the customer's console if I'm working on it for any other reason. I don't charge them for it, it's just something I do as a precautionary measure to make sure it's not going to come back for overheating. So just give it a nice clean inside, and we're good to go. And this will be good for 18 months or so before it needs another clean out. Alright, so next step, I'm going to remove this liquid metal. People are going to say this is a waste, but how would I sell my own liquid metal if I don't remove the old stuff? Alright, so you want to make sure that all of the oxidation and the gunk on the heatsink is cleared off. So I'm going to collect up this liquid metal with my tweezers. That's the easiest way to pick it up. You can suck it up with a syringe, but I'll just pick it up with a pair of tweezers. Well, most of the time anyway. There we are. And then the easiest way to clean the heatsink, just get yourself a cloth, put some IPA on the cloth, And just give it a really good scrub with the cloth. It's the easiest way to do it. There we are, you see? All nice and clean. I will just give it a once over with the cotton swab as well. Alright, good stuff. Now that that's done, I can go ahead and put some fresh liquid metal on. But first I need to clean off the APU. So we do have a pretty big dry spot and a lot of oxidation on this APU. So can you see this here? It's kind of greasy and the liquid metal is not going to adhere to that at all. So we need to get all of that off before we can apply new liquid metal. Which is another reason why I'll just change the liquid metal as well, because that's going to be mixed in with the existing liquid metal and stuff like that. So if you've got it, I always recommend changing it. Although you can just, you know, clean it up with IPA and it'll be fine. Alright. Give it a once over with a cotton swab. Good to go. Alright, so for the fresh stuff, I'll put a little blob on there. And a little blob on there. You really don't need much. Sony put too much on if you ask me. Because I've cleaned this thoroughly, it should just adhere straight to it. There we are. Yeah, that's bonding nicely. If you've got a fully prepped surface, you shouldn't have any issues applying the liquid metal. I see a lot of people struggling, and it's because they don't prep the surface properly. It's all about the preparation. There we go, that is beautiful. Awesome. Good stuff. So another thing I'll do, just visually inspect all of the ports before it goes back together. Make sure that's all good. And we are good to go. Get rid of that. Don't leave that in there. Alright, I'm going to fast forward through this bit, but I'm just going to be screwing this all back together. Get it all reassembled, and then I will give it a final quick power on test. And assuming it turns on still, I'll call this job good. Okie dokie, we are done. The console is fully reassembled. Let's hope it still turns on, eh? Here we go. Yes, it does. Don't seem to be any more issues with this console. There we go. Quick visual test. PlayStation logo. See the warnings. There we go. Beautiful. This is now working. Let's have a look at the error logs again. No more 108262 error codes. Okay, good. Excellent. So as you can see, that was at 11 AM. It's now 1:10 PM, and this has been running for, well, minus the little break, it's been running for 2 hours, right? So I don't see any more issues. I mean, I've been recording for 2 hours and 14 minutes, so yeah, it's been running for 2 hours basically, and I don't see any more issues. So I'm guessing that the software glitched out, and because of that error code being in the logs, it was stopping from turning on, which I didn't know was a thing. I didn't know that was possible, but apparently it is. So yeah, there you go. All I did was clear the UART codes. I've obviously cleaned out the console, but I will give you a full stress test. I'll get the kids to do that. You know, they'll play different games, Call of Duty, Fortnite, all of that stuff. you know, that can go nuts with it for, you know, the day. But yeah, that's going to be for now. Thanks very much for watching. Let me know what you think down in the comments down below. Have you ever come across this before? If there's ever an advertisement to download my free software, that's pretty much it. But yeah, if you need any of the liquid metal that I used in this video, you can buy that on my online store. I do sell it. It is made by me at home, and it works absolutely fantastic. If you need to organise a repair, you can get in touch at thecoder.repair, and if you need parts and supplies, you can buy those on my online store as well. So with that being said, thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Take care, everyone. Bye for now.